Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be success, ambition, and attraction. Well, I've got an email. I'm going to go through one email today from a viewer, and he brings up some really good points. He was dating a woman, and then he started going through a really difficult time with his career, and he started having financial problems. And he had this perception that, hey, if you're with somebody and you love somebody, that they're going to be with you through thick and thin. And obviously in his particular situation, when he started running into problems, in his eyes, she didn't stick around. And he's thinking, what the fuck? I thought we were in this together. And so I'm going to go through the reasons why she lost attraction for him and didn't stick around, because this is something that every guy and every woman, for that matter, who's watching this, at some point in your life, you're going to go through difficult times when you change careers, or maybe your company gets downsized, or maybe changes happen in the market and your business that was flourishing for a long period of time goes out of business, and then you have to start all over again, or something happens and you lose all your money in the stock market. Things are going to happen in life. Maybe you had a very successful life, a very successful business, and then you had some kind of major health challenge that prohibited you from working, and therefore your business or your career withers and dies, and those things are going to happen. And so when you go through challenges in life, is you can't let these things, you can't let challenges, if you're a man, you can't let them diminish you, because masculine energy is about purpose, drive, mission, succeeding, accomplishing, breaking through barriers. It's all about the embodiment of that. And obviously when a guy is successful and he's doing something he really loves for a living and that he's passionate about, the kind of thing that he feels like that's what he was put on this earth to do, that's very sexy and that's very attractive to a woman. And so when a woman starts dating a guy and then he's no longer that, or he goes through a difficult time or a hardship, sure, she's going to stick around for a while, but if things don't get better, or it seems like they continue to get worse and worse and it goes on for many years, eventually, in her eyes, she perceives that he's not doing enough to help himself or the family, because women want to just show up and have a good time and let the man be the leader in the relationship. This allows her to feel comfortable moving into her feminine energy and staying in her feminine energy. But if the guy is going through a difficult time, in her eyes, she perceives that he's not doing everything that he could be doing to helping himself. This forces her to move into her masculine, which is not her natural essence. And obviously she's going to resent it. She's going to become bitchy at times. And if things don't get any better and it goes on for several years and eventually she gets to the point where she thinks, well, this guy's just not going to do enough to help himself, she'll lose attraction and fall out of love. And the next thing he knows, she leaves him, or he finds out that she's having an affair with some other guy who's much more successful. And that can be devastating, obviously, to any man. And so I'm going to go through this. I'm going to point out some key things here, because at some point in your life you're going to have challenges, you're going to have difficulty. And I'm going to share an experience that I had in my own life when I was going through a difficult time, a difficult career and business transition, and how it affected the relationship that I was in at the time. But before we get into it, I got a quote that I wrote on this topic I want to share with you, and then I'm going to go through this guy's email. And the quote says, masculine energy embodies success, ambition, goals, mission, and purpose in life. Women are much more attracted to men who know what they want, why they want it, and are taking action to achieve it, than men who don't know what their purpose in life is, or who have unexpectedly seen their success, business, or wealth disappear. A woman will support a man going through a hard time for a while, but if he only complains about his situation and does not do much or do enough in her eyes to help himself or turn things around, eventually she will lose attraction and respect for him to the point that she dumps him. A man must not let challenges, setbacks, job loss, business failure, financial hardship, etc. diminish him to the point that he gives up or stops trying to turn things around in his life. If he does, she will no longer trust his masculine core, and it won't be long before he finds himself being unexpectedly dumped by his woman. What a woman wants to see is that you're actively doing something to make things better, and that you're looking for a way to get through the problems or the challenges that you're having and not let it diminish you. Have a good sense of humor about it and laugh about it. It's okay to be broke together if you're in a relationship with somebody, But as long as you're doing something, as long as she can see that you're really taking action, you're busting your ass to get out of the situation that you're in. A lot of guys make the mistake when they're going through a difficult time financially or in their business or their career, that they think, I got to focus 100% of my energy, my time on turning things around, and then they stop courting and dating their girlfriend or their wife on top of the fact that they're going through a difficult time. Because if you do that as well, she'll eventually leave you, because the courtship never ends. And that means even when things suck, the courtship, you still have to find a way. Even if you just go to a park and you pack a picnic lunch or a picnic basket, it's like, hey, boo-boo, let's get some Bud Lights in a picnic basket. I mean, you gotta get out there and you gotta keep grinding. You gotta keep moving forward. You can't let shit happen that happens, or you go through a difficult time in your life. You can't let it diminish you as a man. You can have a sense of humor about it, but the woman in your life has got to see that you're working to make things better, and that may mean taking a job that you don't really want to do, even if it's less income. If you have to go through a bankruptcy or a foreclosure, you have a good attitude about it, and you just figure, hey, we got to downsize. This is what we got to do. And you got to be the leader. If she sees that you're taking care of things and you're resolving things, and that way you're not dumping it on her lap or making her your therapist or treating her or expecting her to be your mommy instead of her being your lover, you're going to cause her to move into her masculine, which is not her natural essence. She's not going to like it. It's going to make her feel very unsafe, especially if you're the type of guy that's not very good at managing money. I've had several clients over the years that are in those situations where they earn good money, but they're always spending money and pissing it away and not paying the bills on time. And this makes the woman feel very unsafe. It affects their sex life, because guys will call me and they go, my wife doesn't want to have sex with me. It seems like I'm always initiating it. And once we get into things and I start asking them questions, I find out what's really going on in their lives. They may be going through a difficult time. Like I remember one particular client of mine, his wife had always managed the bills. And then it got to a situation where he's like, no, I'm going to take care of it. But he was always paycheck to paycheck. Things got behind. They got late payments. And so she sees this stuff. And he's always harping on her about money or not spending the money that she wants to spend. And then she feels out of control. She feels stressed out. Because she was stressed all the time about money. And because when she was managing things, there was always plenty of money in the bank. Even if they had a difficult month or whatever, it's not like there was absolutely no money in the bank, which is where he always tended to manage things. And what we ended up discussing, and I did a phone session with the two of them, is that she took that part of things back because she was really good at managing money and he just sucked at it. And so he let her handle those things because she did a good job of it. And that way she felt safe and comfortable. And literally within a matter of days, her sex life got back to normal because now she felt safe and comfortable with that particular piece and aspect of their life, and he still was able to focus on his career and his mission in life and continue to keep the money flowing in. He was no longer putting an unnecessary stress on their relationship, because when a woman doesn't feel safe and comfortable in the relationship, she's going to shut down. She's not going to feel safe trusting his masculine core, and she's going to want to back away, test him. She's going to become bitchy at times. She's going to be less interested in sex, those kinds of things. So let's go ahead and get into his email. He says, hey coach, I've watched a lot of your videos and I have a question regarding true love. For that, I describe a scenario below. The main reason behind it is that you keep saying showing weakness ruins attraction. Let's say a guy and a girl are in a relationship for about 2.5 years. They're very happy together. The guy has been successful with his life before the start of this relationship. So that's important to note. You were successful, everything is going great in your life, and then so you have a complete, happy, whole life, and then you meet this great girl who's happy, whole, complete as well, and now you share your completeness together. Now if something changes to where you're no longer that guy, she'll support you for a while, but if it continues on to the point where it looks like you're not really doing enough to help yourself, eventually she's going to get to the point where she's tired of waiting around, and eventually she will leave you. She will break up with you because you're no longer acting like the same man that you were when you guys got together. He says suddenly the guy loses all of his savings and his job for whatever reason. He goes into a state of depression. All he expects from his girl is to stay by his side with him. Well, you're into a state of depression. Being depressed about things, what are you doing to help yourself? You can sit there and sit at home and cry the blues and feel sad. Oh, I lost my job. I lost my money. I lost my business. Oh, my God, what am I going to do? And then every day she comes home from her career, her work, and then what are you doing? You're sitting there drinking a beer, watching TV. Or you're just staring into space. And since you don't have much money, you don't take her out. You don't court her anymore. You're no longer the guy that she fell in love with. You have unilaterally, in essence, changed the guy that you were showing up. You're no longer the same dude. She fell in love with a guy that was successful, that was ambitious, that was making shit happen. And you go from being that guy to being depressed and feeling sorry for yourself, making her your mommy. Women will stick with you, but if you don't turn things around, eventually she's going to get tired of it. Because you're, in essence, expecting her to be the leader. You're expecting her to assume the man's role in the relationship, and you're assuming the feminine role in the relationship. It's a turnoff. It's not attractive. He says, on the other hand, the girl keeps on going to parties with her friends just while this guy is in the state of depression. There was a video I did several years ago called Girls Just Want to Have Fun, just like the old Cyndi Lauper song from the 80s. If you're depressed all the time, why would she want to hang out with you and be a drag? The whole reason why she got together with you is because you were a blast to hang out with. And all you want to do is sit at home and sulk and complain, and eventually she gets tired of listening to you bitch and not do anything about it, being depressed about it. What action are you taking to help yourself? Being depressed doesn't solve your problems. Getting out there and taking action, that's what will solve things. Because being depressed is what's going on is you're just looking at what happened in the past and going, now, gee, I had all this money, all this success, and now things suck. Oh my God, what am I going to do? But you're not really doing anything to help yourself. Eventually she gets tired of waiting. He says the guy gets more weak day by day as he sees the love of his life, his girlfriend whom he loved for 2.5 years, cannot feel his pain. She's not supposed to be your therapist, dude. She's supposed to be your lover. She's supposed to be your partner, your teammate. Think about it. If you play in the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball or soccer or whatever kind of sport it happens to be, and you're no longer the same player that you once were, maybe you got injured, maybe you just don't have your mental game right, or maybe you don't have the same passion, or maybe you're just getting too old. What happens? You're going to get fucking cut, and they're going to bring in a new player. Nothing personal, it's just business, because the team is all about winning. And if you're not doing your part, it's like what Coach Bill Parcells said. If you can help the team, come on in. And if you can't, get the fuck out. It's as simple as that. What are you doing to help the team of the two of you? What do you want her to do? Sit at home and be depressed with you all day? And go, oh, gee, poor us, poor you, oh, you lost your job. He says eventually the girl dumps him because he is not successful anymore. Would you say that it is the guy's fault because he's acting weak? Yep. What are you doing to help yourself? Bottom line is you got to fucking be a man. You got to man up and do something. You got to take some action. If you're not taking action, guess what? Nothing's happening. If you're not taking action, you're not doing anything to help yourself, you got to participate in your own rescue. And if you're not participating in your own rescue, it's a moot point. Eventually she's going to give up. He says, in essence, is there no such thing as true love and attraction? Is it just temporary as long as you were strong enough? Again, you stopped being the guy that you fell in love with. You consciously chose to do nothing. You consciously chose to say, all right, well, shit happens. I got to find a new job. I got to start a new business, whatever. You got to do something to help yourself. You can't put all this stress upon her and expect her to be the man in the relationship. She fell in love with a man. And now you go from being a man to being this depressed little boy who's trying to make her your mommy. What do you expect? Or would you say it's the girl's fault? She fell in love with the guy that you used to be, and you stopped being that guy. In this particular case, dude, it's your fault. You're not participating in your own rescue. You just want to sulk about it and feel sorry for yourself. She has proven herself as a bitch, and the guy should have dumped her long ago. Well, the only reason she's bitchy is because you're not acting like a man. You're causing her to move into her masculine, which is not her natural essence. Any woman, any normal, healthy woman is going to become bitchy in that situation. Why is she bitchy? Because she's fearful. If she's fearful, she's going to be angry. She's going to become bitchy. She's challenging you to step up and be a fucking man, and you're not doing it. You're just laying there helpless. You're not doing anything to help yourself. He says, in my culture, we are taught to stay together no matter what. Well, think about it. It's like you're pulling this wagon, and the wagon is your relationship and your family. And so the two of you are out in front pulling the wagon, and at some point, because something happens, it's like you're just kind of laying on the ground, and she's pulling it, and she's like dragging the wagon, and she's dragging you behind it because you're not pulling your own weight anymore. What do you expect? Eventually she's going to get tired of it. She became part of a team, and you stop being a good teammate. What do you expect? If that happens in professional sports, you get fucking cut, dude. You get released. You're off the team. They got somebody new that wants to come in. That's just the way it is. If you can help the team, come on in. And if you can't, get the fuck out. That's just the way it is. He says, that is how I define true love. Would you feel better if she just made herself miserable along with you? Women want to be happy. Girls just want to have fun. There's a reason for that. And if you're not a fun, successful guy anymore, is that her fault? I mean, think about it. If she loses her job and she just sits at home and sulks all the time, becomes sad and depressed, and every day you come home from work, all she wants to do is bitch about it, and she's sitting on the couch just eating and getting fatter and fatter, and now you're losing attraction for her, and she's not doing anything to help herself, eventually you're going to get tired of that, and you're going to leave her. Think about it. It's common sense. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone or Skype or email coaching session with yours truly. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the Products tab at the top of your screen on any page of my website, and just follow the instructions for booking whatever option works for you. And I will talk to you soon.